Hey folks, welcome to the DoItYourselfDad channel. Today we're talking about batteries, and this is the EcoFlow Delta. This was on the channel a little bit ago. You can go check out that in the description below if you want to. This little battery took the place of all the big batteries on my trailer. This little guy runs my refrigerator, my microwave, my lights, my toaster, everything on the trailer run through this. It's got 110 and 12 volt outputs as well as USB outputs. What sets this thing apart from some of its competitors like the Goal Zeros is it can charge extremely quickly. If you plug it into a wall outlet, you can go from flat to 80% in about an hour. Now, the downside is it's pretty expensive. It's over $1,000. So they just put out its little brother. This is the R600. The neat thing about the R600 is depending upon what model you can get it for under 300 bucks. This is great for camping. It's great for being around the house, emergencies, stuff like that. You can plug it into the wall through these little ports on the front. You can also plug it into a solar panel. It's got all your normal outputs, your USB stuff, and then here on the side, again, just like its big brother, it's got the 110. Now, you might be asking yourself right now, you're talking about batteries, why are you sitting in front of an old beat up mini bike and an even more beat up cart here? And that's because everybody shows you doing things like charging laptops and stuff like that. We're gonna work on these with this little battery. We're gonna run grinders, saws, drills, and then we're gonna torture this thing and run my welder with it. It's not supposed to be able to do it, so we're gonna try. We'll see what happens. But the other reason I have these two here is because in one of my next videos, I'm actually gonna power one of these with this. We're gonna convert one of them to electric and we're gonna power it with the EcoFlow, which is kind of cool because it's gonna be a plug-in, solar-powered go-kart or mini bike. And that's where I need your help. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know which one you think we should convert. But right now, let's get into working on one of these suckers with the battery. We'll show you how it works. So the first thing we're gonna do is charge up our tools. So we've got our charger here for our tool batteries, and we've got our plugs. So you can plug any normal 110 device into the side of the EcoFlow here. And now on the front, you've got this little control panel. So we're gonna power on the whole unit. And when you power it on, you can then select what you want to power. So if you want to power something on the cigarette lighter adapter, you would pull that open and turn that on. You can also turn on a little light here, and then right now our USB sockets are powered. We're going to go around to the side and turn on the inverter. So now with the inverter turned on, our sockets are live. We can plug in our battery. And you may be able to hear on the video now, the fans weren't away, and that's to cool the inverter. And you can see here, we're pulling 73 watts out of the battery. So this little meter here shows us how many hours of charge left we have at its current rate that it's pushing out. And it also tells us if we're bringing in power. So if we have power coming in from the solar panels, it'll tell us there what's going on. And it shows us our total battery capacity there. So now that we've got these suckers charging up, let's plug in our grinder and get to cleaning up some metal so we can do some welds. All right, so we're not even gonna bother unplugging our battery because I think this thing can handle everything. So we're gonna run the grinder here. We're gonna plug it on into the side. And then we're gonna go over to the cart and start grinding, and you will be able to see here what's happening on the monitor. Now things are looking good here and I'm impressed, but make sure you watch to the very end because there is a little twist in the story. All right, so now we know this little guy will run our grinder no problem and simultaneously charge the battery because we had both of them plugged in at the same time. Now let's beat on this thing. And this thing really honestly has no business running this. This shouldn't work. This is my MIG welder. It's not a very powerful one, but it is still more powerful than this thing should be able to handle in theory. But we're gonna plug her on in and see what she does. Now, this is gonna prove a couple things. It's gonna prove, one, can it handle it? And if it can't handle it, this thing should have safeties built in to shut itself down. So we're gonna give it a whirl and see what it does. And if for some reason this thing does run on it, I'm gonna hook this up to the air conditioner on my trailer. There's no way it should be able to run that. And then we'll see if it has a breaker in it that pops. And if it does pop, if you can reset it. So let's give it a go on the welder. So now that we've done that, and before we run to the air conditioning, there's one more thing we got to do. And that would be to plug in my water boiler, pour a cup of tea, and admire my ugly welds. Yep, that is one ugly weld. Now, in its defense, I'm a terrible welder. It's not really the battery's fault. Now, since that works, the beatings need to continue. So we've got it hooked up to our trailer here. And you can see here, it's actually pulling 20 watts right now. I don't know how well you can see the screen, but it's pulling 19, 20 watts right now, and that's just the float on the battery. So now we're gonna go inside and try to kick on the air conditioner. It shouldn't work. So we're more testing to see if this thing has a breaker in it and making sure that it works properly and that it's easy to reset. And here is where things go off the rails. If you hear that clicking sound, that is my air conditioning trying to start itself. I'm wearing a wireless mic. I'm actually inside the trailer when I'm shooting this. So you're picking up the sound of the inside of the trailer and the air conditioner. Now let's listen to that one more time. Did you hear that sound? Let's play it a little bit louder. That little buzzing sound, that is the sound of my air conditioning's controller board frying itself. And it fried itself because this thing should have shut itself down when it started realizing it couldn't supply the power. That's what my generator does. That's what my Delta does. This thing didn't shut itself down. It kept trying to push power, and that can really, really damage electronics. So right now I'm bummed, and I'm bummed for two reasons. One, I'm bummed because I really had high hopes for this thing. I really love their other product that we have, the Delta, and this was a cheaper alternative to the Delta. So I was really hopeful that this thing would be good. But I'm also bummed because my air conditioning's fried in my trailer. Now, I did pull it all apart. I figured out what was wrong, and it was a pretty simple fix if you know electronics, so I did get it fixed, fortunately. But I emailed the company about it, and their response was, don't try to power things that are that powerful. Except in all their advertising for this that they sent me, it should be able to power a surge up to 1200 watts. It can't. It just didn't do it. So at this point, I can't recommend it. Now, it is in a Kickstarter phase right now, so they are still working on it, and they could improve things, and I'm hopeful they will, but I don't know, it doesn't look good. So anyway, I'm still sitting here in my go-kart because I'm still planning on doing this project. So let me know which one you think I should power, the mini bike here or the go-kart, and I'll either use this one or the Delta. We'll see how it goes. You can check out their Kickstarter. Maybe they're making updates to it. It's in the link below, but I hope this video helps you out, or I'll make a decision about one of these. I don't know. So give this video a great big thumbs up because I really would appreciate that from you. Hit that subscribe button because we got all sorts of cool stuff coming your way, and you might even be able to see us make one of these things electric. Thanks for watching.